I stood at the altar in that godforsaken Brooklyn chapel, veil half torn from the wind whipping through the cracked door, and whispered my vows to a ghost. Because that's all my husband-to-be was by then, a fading echo after I confessed the family skeletons I'd been dragging for years. My sister, Lila, was belting out her Tony-nominated number on Broadway just blocks away, the whole city buzzing about her breakthrough, while my parents clapped like trained seals in the front row, oblivious that their absence here was the final nail in the coffin of the life I'd built on lies. And me? I didn't cry. I laughed, a sharp, hollow bark that echoed off the peeling frescoes. Because in that moment, I realized the revenge I'd plotted for a decade wasn't just for her crime. It was for the girl I'd buried to keep her shining. The rain hammered the stained glass windows like it was trying to drown out the organist's hesitant chords, but nothing could wash away the acid burn in my chest. My name's Delilah, Lila to no one but my family, a nickname I hated because it blurred the lines between us, like we were two sides of the same tarnished coin. I was 28, a junior editor at a midtown publishing house, the kind of job that paid just enough to keep the lights on in my Astoria walk-up, but left me staring at manuscripts about other people's triumphs while my own felt like footnotes. And today, of all days, was supposed to be my page-turner, marrying Ethan, the steady graphic designer who'd stuck by me through migraines and midnight deadlines, in a ceremony small enough to fit our regrets, but big enough to fool us into forever. But the pews? Half empty. Aunt Rita in the back, nursing a flask and muttering about traffic. Ethan's mom, stone-faced, her eyes flicking to the door every 5 seconds like she was waiting for reinforcements that weren't coming. And my parents, God, my parents, nowhere in sight. Their reserved sign mocked me from the third row, the Harrisons, honored guests. As if they were guests at their own daughter's wedding, not the anchors I'd counted on to keep this sinking ship afloat. The officiant, a nervous kid fresh out of divinity school, cleared his throat. Delilah? We're ready when you are. Ready. What a joke. I'd been ready since I was 16, covering for Lila's screw-ups, swallowing the shards of her spotlight so she could keep dancing toward it. Ethan squeezed my hand, his palm clammy against the calluses from his sketch pad. It's okay, babe. Metro North delays, right? They'll make it. He didn't know. No one did, except the shadows in my head. I forced a smile, the kind that didn't reach my eyes, and nodded. Yeah, let's do this. We muddled through the vows, in sickness and in health, for richer or poorer, me stumbling over forsaking all others because, hell, I'd already forsaken pieces of myself for family. The ring slid on like ill-fitting promises, and just as the officiant pronounced us man and wife, my phone buzzed in my bouquet. A text from Mom, stuck at Lila's show, standing ovation. Be there soon. Love you both. Ethan kissed me then, soft and hopeful, but I tasted bile. The reception was a sad spread in the church basement, catered sliders from a halal cart, because that's what New York newlyweds on a budget did. We cut a grocery store cake that tasted like regret, and I laughed along as Ethan's cousin cracked jokes about eloping next time. But inside, the gears were grinding. That text wasn't just a delay. It was the universe's cruel punchline, the same one it had been landing since we were kids in that cramped Queens apartment, where Mom and Dad's dreams for the star always eclipsed the quiet one holding the script. Lila and I were Irish-Italian mutts, born 9 months apart. Me first, the surprise, her the miracle. Mom waitressed at an off-Broadway diner, Dad slung insurance policies door to door, both scraping by on fumes of ambition. I was the bookworm, nose in dog-eared copies of The Great Gatsby, dreaming of stories that didn't end in eviction notices. Lila? She was firecrackers and leg kicks, belting show tunes from the fire escape until neighbors threatened to call the cops. By 10, she had an agent. By 12, bit parts in regional theater. And me? I was the roadie, memorizing lines when she forgot, forging excuses when she skipped school for auditions. But it wasn't the small stuff that broke me. It was the night of the fire. I was 16, Lila 15, crashing at a cast party in the Village after her first off-Broadway gig. Mom and Dad were in Atlantic City for a rare weekend off, leaving me in charge. Lila begged to go. It's networking, D. For my future. And I caved, because saying no meant her tears, and her tears meant Mom's guilt trips about robbing her of her gift. So I drove her there in Dad's beat-up Civic, parked on a side street thick with summer haze, and waited in the car like a chump, flipping through a battered Catcher in the Rye while laughter spilled from the brownstone. Hours ticked by. 2 a.m. rolled around, and panic clawed my gut. I texted her, no reply. Called voicemail. Finally, I stormed in, past the haze of weed and cheap Merlot, up the creaky stairs to find her in a bedroom with some producer twice her age, skirt hiked up, his hands where they shouldn't be. She shoved him off, eyes wild, but not before the lamp crashed, knocking over a candle. Flames licked the curtains, fast, hungry. Screams erupted. Kids bolted. I dragged Lila out, coughing black smoke, but not before the place went up like kindling. Sirens wailed. Fire marshals report. Arson suspected, but no proof. Lila babbled about a freak accident, but whispers spread. That underage starlet started it. The producer vanished, lawyered up. Mom and Dad rushed back, faces ashen, and in the ER waiting room, Lila clung to me, whispering, "You saw nothing, D. Please. This is my shot." So I lied. To the cops. I was outside the whole time. Must have been faulty wiring. To the press sniffing for scandal. My sister's innocent. Party got rowdy, that's all. Dad pulled strings with his union buddies to hush it. Mom spun it as youthful exuberance. Lila's career teetered, but I propped it up with my silence. The guilt? It was mine to swallow, a tumor growing in the quiet hours when I'd wake sweating, smelling phantom smoke. Years blurred. Lila clawed to chorus lines, then understudy gigs, her charm a weapon she wielded like a switchblade, sweet 1 second, venomous the next. Me? College on scholarships, that editing job, Ethan with his easy grins and late-night Thai takeout. We dated 3 years, the kind of slow-burn love that felt like armor against the chaos. He proposed in Central Park, under a sky bruised purple, and I said yes because for once, I wanted something that was mine. But family has hooks. Lila's big break came last spring, a lead in Echoes of Empire, a gritty musical about Gilded Age schemers, her role of vixen clawing from rags to rivets. Rehearsals ate her alive. She crashed at my place weekly, raiding my fridge and spilling industry dirt. That director? Total creep. Reminds me of. She'd trail off, eyes flicking away, and I'd nod, pretending the past was ash. Wedding plans ramped up. Venue. St. Agnes, because it was cheap and had that old-world echo Mom loved. Dress. Second-hand silk from a Hell's Kitchen boutique, nipped at the waist to hide my stress eating. Invites. Digital, to save stamps. Lila promised to fly in from Tech Week. Front row, sis. I'll even sing a toast. Parents RSVP'd with hearts. Dad joking about walking me down the aisle in his Mets cap. Then, 2 weeks out, the call. Lila's understudy sprained an ankle. They need me, D. Opening night. But I'll make the ceremony, swear on Wicked. I believed her. Or wanted to. Mom and Dad, starstruck as ever, booked tickets for the show instead. It's once in a lifetime. We'll Uber straight over, promise. The morning of, my phone lit up. Lila's killing it. Sold out. A photo, her mid-belt, spotlit, parents beaming beside her. My stomach dropped. Ethan found me in the bathroom, mascara streaked. Babe, it's fine. We'll FaceTime them in. But it wasn't fine. The ceremony blurred into a haze. Vows exchanged under fluorescent flicker. We danced our first dance to a Spotify playlist on a Bluetooth speaker, Ethan's arms my only anchor. By midnight, back in our apartment, champagne uncorked but flat, he poured it out. Talk to me, Delilah. So I did. The fire. The lie. The years of propping Lila up while she stepped on necks, mine included, to climb. Ethan's face hardened, not with pity, but something sharper, disillusion. You carried that alone? For her. For family. I whispered, but it tasted like surrender. He pulled away, eyes distant. I thought I knew you. But this. It's like you're still burning. By dawn, he was gone, packed a bag for his brothers in Jersey. Need space, D. To figure if this is us, or just another cover-up. Alone with the wilted bouquet, I scrolled Lila's feed. Dream night. Grateful for my ride or dies. Tagged Mom, Dad. Not me. That's when the old wound ripped wide. Revenge wasn't a spark. It was the inferno I'd banked too long. And this time, I'd let it rage. I started small. Hacked Lila's email. Easy, since she used our childhood dog as password. Scanned for dirt. Found gold. Threads with that long-gone producer, not vanished, but lurking, offering consulting gigs for her post-Broadway pivot. and deeper. An abortion, hushed up last year, funded by a patron who expected more. Lies layered like varnish. But the real bomb? A draft script, her memoir, ghosted by some hack. Chapter 5, The Fire That Forged Me. My lie rewritten as her bravery. Me a footnote. My sister, ever the protector, stood by me through the flames. Fury boiled. I forwarded it to Ethan's brother, anonymous, with a note. Ask him why she's hiding this. Petty? Sure. But it planted the seed. Next, I called Mom. Why'd you skip? Her voice, syrup sweet. Oh, honey, the energy. Lila was electric. We'll make it up. Dinner next week. Electric, I echoed. Like the wiring that almost killed us all. Silence. Then, Delilah, that's ancient history. Let it go. I didn't hang up. I hung fire. Tell Lila I know about the script. And the producer. Click. She called back frantic. D? What script? You're scaring me. Liar. I said, calm as Lake Placid. But I'm done protecting yours. That night, I met Ethan at a dive bar in Williamsburg, neon buzzing like bad decisions. He slid into the booth, wary. Got your email? Jesus, Delilah. Not mine. I lied smooth. Hers. The truth she won't tell. We talked till last call, him venting betrayal, me threading the narrative. Lila as the thief, not just of spotlights but souls. By closing, his hand found mine. I miss us. But trust. It's charred. I'll fix it, I promised. And in my head, the plan crystallized. Not destruction, but exposure. A slow leak, letting her empire crack from within. First leak, anonymous tip to theater mania. Starlet's past fire tied to assault cover-up. They bid, running a blind item. Broadway's rising flame. Smoke from old scandals? Lila's camp spun it. PR blitz about misogynistic smears. But reviews dipped. Investors whispered. She texted, WTF, D? You leaked this? I replied, Karma's got a long memory. Mom called, hysterical. She's crumbling. Back off. Crumbing. I laughed. Like the cake I cut alone. Dad tried next. Gruff. Family first, kid. Always has been. Not anymore. Ethan moved back in, tentative. We rebuilt on ruins. Therapy sessions in Murray Hill, where I unpacked the fire for the first time aloud. His forgiveness was a bomb, but mine? It festered into strategy. Lila flipped the script then, showed up at my door, rain-soaked, mascara rivers. I need you. The board's pulling funding. It's us against them. Us. The word twisted like a knife. She collapsed inside, sobbing about betrayal, echoing my pain. For a heartbeat, I softened, held her like we were kids again, before the blaze. Then I saw it. Her phone, buzzing. A text from the producer. Need to talk. That favor? I pocketed it when she dozed. Hacked deeper. Emails proving she'd pimped her story to him for a movie deal, fire included as edgy origin. The villain in her was an accident. It was architecture. And I was done being the foundation. The city pulsed outside my window like a hangover. Horns blaring, sirens wailing, the endless churn of ambition that chewed up dreamers and spat out husks. 2 weeks post-wedding, and Lila's show was hanging by a thread, previews slashed to half capacity as the blind item metastasized into full-page spreads in Variety. Echoes of Empire echoes doubts. Leads fiery past under scrutiny. Her agent dumped her mid-rehearsal, screaming optics over the line. Mom and Dad were in damage control. Dad calling in favors from old cronies. Mom posting throwback pics of Lila in pigtails with captions like resilience runs in the family blessed. Me? I was at my desk in the Flatiron office, red-penning a debut novel about a woman avenging her stolen life. Irony thicker than the plot. Ethan texted from his freelance gig. Lunch? Miss your fire. We'd patch the cracks with date nights. Rooftop tacos in Bushwick. Walks along the High Line where he'd trace my knuckles and say, You're not her shadow anymore. It felt real, fragile as rice paper, but I clung to it like a lifeline. Lila's next move came via voicemail. Voice cracked, but calculated. D. Meet me at the old spot. Please. For old times. The old spot. Our childhood diner in Astoria, Formica counters scarred from 1,000 spills, where Mom used to sneak us milkshakes after Dad's layoffs. I went, against Ethan's murmur of boundaries. She was in a corner booth, hoodie up like a fugitive, nursing black coffee that matched the bags under her eyes. Up close, the shine was gone, skin sallow, that megawatt smile dimmed to a flicker. "You look like shit," I said, sliding in opposite. She flinched. "Thanks. Pot, kettle." A beat, then, "I'm sorry. About the wedding. I didn't know they'd bail." "Liar." I leaned in, voice low. "You scheduled opening for the exact hour. Coincidence." Her eyes darted. Classic Lila, the flip from prey to predator. "It was tight. But I called you that morning." To gloat. I slapped her phone on the table, the pilfered one. "Or to coordinate with him." She froze, then snatched it. "How? That's private." "So was my vows. So was the fire." The waitress hovered. I waved her off. "Tell me why, Lila. Why drag him back? For a script deal? After what he did?" She deflated, shoulders slumping. "It wasn't. I was desperate. Post-Empire, auditions dried up. He reached out. Said he could connect me with Spielberg's people. All I had to do was embellish the origin story. Make it dramatic." "Embellish." I spat the word. "You mean lie? Again. Using my lot." Tears welled. Genuine this time. Or her best act. I was scared, D. That night. He didn't force me. I went up there thinking it was my ticket. Then the candle. Panic. I started it. "Yeah, but you saved me. You're the hero." "Hero." The word curdled. "Heroes don't get skipped. They don't get footnotes." She reached across, fingers brushing mine. "Help me fix this. Leak the real emails. Show I cut him off. We spin it together. Sisters against the wolves." For a second, the old pull tugged, blood thicker than ink, the myth we'd sold ourselves. But then I saw the calculation in her gaze, the way her lip curled just so. She'd always been the chameleon, shedding skins to survive. Mine was just collateral. "No," I said, pulling back. "You fix it, or I will." I left her there, coffee cooling, and walked into the drizzle feeling the weight lift, if only an ounce. Back home, Ethan was sketching at the kitchen table, our wedding photo propped like a talisman, me beaming, him adoring, pre-truth serum. "How'd it go?" "Therapy." I lied, kissing his temple. But the plan evolved that night. Overtake out Lo Mein and the Americans reruns. Exposure wasn't enough. It had to sting, had to mirror the isolation she'd gifted me. I needed her to feel the empty seats. Step 2. The board. Empire's producers were old-school theater sharks, the kind who lunched at Sardi's and blackballed on whims. I crafted an email from a burner, concerned insider, attaching redacted chats, Lila pitching her fiery backstory, to the producer, complete with timestamps overlapping that long-ago party. "Is this the integrity you want headlining?" By morning, headlines screamed. Empire in turmoil. Lead accused of fabricating trauma for gain. Lila's Instagram imploded. Fans unfollowing in droves. Trolls piling on with cancel Lila lies. She blew up my phone. "You bitch. This is career suicide." "Welcome to mine," I texted back. Mom descended like a nor'easter, pounding on my door at 7 a.m. Delilah Marie Harrison. "Open up. You're destroying her." I did, coffee in hand. Ethan hovering in the hall. She barreled in, peroxide waves askew, clutching a crumpled post. This is your revenge? For a missed dinner?" I laughed, bitter. "Missed dinner? Try missed life, Mom." Every callback, every promotion I turned down to babysit her messes. And the fire. God, the fire. I lied for her, carried that felony heat so she could warble on. Her face crumpled, rare vulnerability from the woman who'd once hawked jewelry for Lila's headshots. "We didn't know it was that bad. She said you were fine with it." "Family protects family." "Family," I echoed. "That's your excuse?" For picking her encore over my aisle. Ethan stepped forward, arm around me. "Mrs. Harrison, maybe it's time to protect all of us." She whirled on him. You're in on this? After she dragged you into her pity party?" "Pity." His voice rose, New York edge sharpening. "She told me everything. The cover-up, the guilt. If anyone's the outsider, it's the ones who bailed on their own blood." Mom's slap echoed before I could blink, his cheek reddening, her hand trembling. "Don't you lecture me, boy. Lila's the one paying now, paparazzi at her door, death threats. She's talking pills, D. Pills." Guilt stabbed, but I shoved it down. "Then tell her to come clean. The truth, the whole goddamn blaze." She stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the super's Yiddish curses below. Ethan iced his face, jaw set. "Worth it." I nodded, but doubt crept like fog off the East River. Was this justice, or just trading scars? Lila's flip came swift. That afternoon, a package, my old diary from high school, pages clawed with my rants. Lila's a user. Wish she'd burn for real. Enclosed note. Her script. Two can play, sis. Remember what else you wrote about Mom's affair? My blood iced. I'd scribbled it furious, after overhearing Dad's suspicions. Mom and the diner boss, a fling to pay bills. Kid stuff and proven. But in Lila's hands? Ammo. She escalated. Posted a tearful video from her walk-up. My sister's jealous. Always has been. This leak? Her, trying to torch my dreams like she torched ours. Views exploded. 2M overnight. Comments split. Poor Lila. Family betrayal sucks. Team Lila versus Wait. Arson cover-up? Justice for fire victims. The split was surgical. My inbox flooded. Co-workers side-eyeing. Ethan's family texting, is this true? Mom radio silent. Dad left one voicemail. You're breaking us all, kid. Call off the dogs. But Lila's real moxie? She lawyered up, suing the tipster, me, for defamation. Subpoena served at my office. The junior execs whispering drama queen as I signed. Ethan found me chain-smoking on the stoop that night. First cig in years. Fight it, he urged. We countersue. Truth as defense. I crushed the butt under my heel. No. Time to end it. All or nothing. The climax brewed in a week. Lila's tell-all presser, booked at a midtown hotel, flanked by crisis PR. I crashed it, badge from a forgotten variety junket getting me past security. The room buzzed, reporters shoulder to shoulder, flashes popping like gunfire. She took the podium, poised in emerald silk, the vixen reborn. I've been silent too long. The fire? A tragic accident. My sister protected me, out of love. These leaks? Jealousy from someone who resents my light. Murmurs rippled. A Times hack called. Delilah Harrison. Care to comment? I stood, heart thundering. Yeah, I do. All eyes swiveled. Lila's face drained to chalk. Security. But I was rolling, voice steady from years of editing bullshit. That protection? It was me lying to cops, swallowing assault charges so you could chase choruses. And the producer? You didn't cut him off. You bedded him for a biopic, twisting my silence into your myth. Gasps. Phones whipped out, live tweeting. Lila lunged, mic screeching. Lies. She's unhinged, skipped her own wedding. The room fractured, half cheering truth, half hissing ambush. A producer in the back yelled, is this why funding's yanked? More skeletons. I dropped the bomb, flashed my phone, producer's emails projected via a hacked AV feed, her doing, ironically. Lila, make the fire my phoenix. Delilah's the villain who let it spread. Chaos erupted. Reporters surged. Security hauled us apart. Lila's shriek cut through. You ruined me. For what a botched I do. Outside, rain lashed the awning as cops sorted the melee. Ethan waited in the crowd, pulling me into a cab. Holy shit, D. That was reckoning. I finished, but triumph tasted like ash. Her career? Torched. Mine? Collateral, job probation, friends ghosting. But as we sped to Queens, my phone pinged. Mom. Hospital. Lila attempted. Come now. The twist hit like brakes on black ice. Revenge's high crashed into the void. Was I avenger or arsonist? The ER waiting room smelled like bleach and broken promises. Linoleum scuffed from gurneys. Vending machines humming judgment on the desperate. Mom paced. Dad slumped in plastic chairs, his Mets cap shadowing eyes red-rimmed. They hadn't spoken to me since the presser, but desperation bridged the chasm. Pills, Mom rasped as I approached. Xanax, the whole bottle. Found her notes. Can't outrun the smoke. Ethan squeezed my elbow, his presence a quiet bulwark. We'll get through. Nurses shuttled us to her room. Lila, pale under fluorescence, for dripping like absolution. Tubes snaked her arms. Monitors beeped a fragile rhythm. She stirred as I neared, eyes cracking open. Hate? Hurt? Both. You came, she whispered, voice gravel. Family, I said, the word a barb we both felt. Mom hovered, wringing hands. Fix this, girls. Please. But fixes were illusions. Lila's gaze sharpened. You happy now? I'm done. Empire cancels tomorrow. No callbacks. Just echoes. Guilt gnawed, but anger armored it. You built that cage, Lila. With every lie, every flip. She laughed, weak. And you? Saint Delilah, wedding warrior? Ethan knows the truth now, all of it. I stiffened. Ethan shifted behind me. Yeah, she pressed. The other secret. The one you buried deeper than my fire. Dad's head snapped up. What secret? Time fractured. Flashback, 6 months pre-wedding, Lila crashing post-rehearsal, drunk on boxed Merlot. D, I need to tell you, we did it. The fire. I dared you to light that candle, remember? Burn the past. You did. For me. I'd shoved it down, labeled it wine talk. But sober, it festered. Complicity. I'd held the match, too. Metaphor turned literal in panic. Now exposed. Ethan's face, betrayal anew. You started it. Not alone, I choked. We were kids. Scared. Lila's smile twisted. See? No heroes. Just us, burning each other. Mom gasped. Dad buried his face. The room spun. My revenge, not salvation, but a mirror shattering illusions. I'd avenged the wrong villain. Not her, but the lie we'd co-authored. Doctors shooed us out. Lila stabilized, but the damage metastasized. Tabloids feasted, sister showdown. Mutual arson and Broadway blaze? My job axed me. Distraction, HR called it. Ethan's gigs dried. Whispers of liar wife followed. We fought in our kitchen, takeout cold. You hid that, he roared. Complicity in assault and arson? I was protecting us, I yelled back. The family we deserve. He packed again, slower this time. But it wasn't us, D. It was survival. And revenge? It just spread the flames. He left the ring on the counter, a vow broken twice. Alone, I scrolled Lila's feed, black square. Taking time, grateful for light and dark. Healing. Months blurred into a gray November. Mom reached out, therapy mandated. Sessions in a Soho loft, circle of Harrison's unpacking ash. Dad admitted favoring Lila. She was the spark we lost young. Mom confessed the affair, one night, desperation. Lila owned her schemes. I flipped cause staying soft meant starving. Me? I voiced the tumor. I bore it all, thinking sacrifice bought love. But it bought silence. No apologies mended, just fragile truces. Lila got clean, community theater, small roles teaching kids boundaries. I freelanced, ghostwriting memoirs of the unburned. Ethan? A Christmas card, space healing. Missed the you before the fire. The twist lingered. No clear villain. Lila's moxie saved her, but scarred us. My revenge split the world. Fans debated forums. Delilah's justice or jealousy? Play spun from it, ironic echoes. One night, post-session, Lila and I walked the gantry, Manhattan skyline mocking our ruins. Think we can rebuild? She asked, breath fogging. I eyed the lights, fractured like us. Not the same, but maybe. Steady. She nodded, linking pinkies, childhood pact. No grand redemption, just two women sifting embers for warmth. Was it happy? Tragic? You tell me. In America's grind, where spotlights blind and rains wash nothing clean, revenge isn't a win. It's the spark you can't unlight. And sometimes, the burn forges something unbreakable, or just more smoke.